Us learn more about the holiday, its origins, and how it evolved into the holiday we know and love today. We are joined by Jennifer Nardine with Virginia Tech. Great to have you on the show, Jennifer.
Thank you for having me. It's a delight.
Yes, I know. So now we, celebrate all like witches and witchcraft and spells and all the things and horror. But really, this all started with All Hallows Eve. Tell me a little bit about how this originated.
Well, we have to go back centuries to figure out when it first started because it was related to a couple of different pagan ceremonies. One was Samhain, which was the fall equinox, which sort of brought in the food and drink and harvest sort of element, which led to candy.
Okay.
That's a good one.
And then on the other hand, there's the October 31st, which is the day that the veil between the worlds is supposed to be thinnest. And so ghosts and people, for that matter, should be able to pass back and forth more easily.
The veil between the living and the dead.
Exactly.
Right? Okay, yes.
And not just humans, but fairies and tricksters and things of that sort.
It's so interesting.
Interesting.
And how did those celebrations find their way to the Western world?
Well, a lot of it was going on in Western Europe to begin with. So when they started emigrating over to the U.S., they brought some of those traditions with them.
Okay. So how do we get these costumes and everything? Where did that originate?
Costumes were originally worn to ward off or scare away spirits,
Okay.
both for the adults and the children. It was a protective measure during the older rituals.
Okay. So it's all about protection.
Exactly.
Exactly. in
Okay.
spirits. So how did all that, the Hallows Eve, evolve into what we do today with the trick-or-treating and the getting the candy and decorating and all the things that we enjoy?
That's a wonderful question. I mean, people enjoy some of the basic activities that go on in Halloween, like you mentioned, the trick-or-treating, the costuming. When it came here, over time, and I think the first evidence of Halloween or something like it started up in about the 1700s.
Wow.
Of course, people were tended to be Christian at that point in the world when they were coming over here. But the previous religions over in the Celtic space were these pagan rituals, and some people didn't give them up when the church moved into Europe and started transforming traditional pagan holidays into Christian holidays. For example, with this one, October 31st, All Hallows Eve. But it usually ran from October 31st evening into the evening of November 1st. And when the church came through and was doing its best to absorb that particular tradition, they made All Saints' Day November 1st. So it sort of covered over the same time period, and it allowed some of the same festivities the evening before, but the focus was very much on saints and Christian religion.
And
So
instead of,
interesting.
yes, instead of the evil, it was more
Yes.
of like focusing on All Saints' Day.
Exactly.
Right, yes, interesting. So let's talk about, so when did the name change to Halloween?
That's an excellent question, too. So way back again in the land of the Celts, and I can't pronounce it, but they had a word that sounds very similar to Halloween.
Okay.
So it went from that word, shifted over to the sort of All Hallows Eve in the middle, and then as it kept contracting in size, the length of the word, it ended up as Halloween.
Oh, funny.
So interesting. And of course, you've dug so deeply into the history of Halloween. Why did you first get so interested in this?
Well, I have some Celtic heritage, so
okay.
that's where it started out. And from there, I started digging into everything that was going on at the time that I started researching. So that's when the paganism and the circle of the wheel and all that kind of activity started coming up. And as I read forward, I learned about the church. And on the other hand, I have a theater background. So costuming is a lot of fun, and it's interesting figuring out how this all happened over centuries.
Yeah, it really is
Learned a
fascinating.
lot.
For sure. Yes, I know. And I think that it's a fun time to, get out and be with your neighbors and just have a good time
Yes.
with family and friends.
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
kind of a last hurrah, before the winter gets too cold.
And we all
That's
hibernate.
true.
Yes,
Exactly. Nobody gets out anymore.
yes, I know. Jennifer, thank you so much for explaining all of this to us. It's fascinating history.